Afternoon all, I'm with my good friend Chris, Chess Explained. So we have another game of the day pick, which we've picked between us. Hi Chris.
Yeah, Trifon, hi. We're a bit late for the second round, but we didn't manage yesterday.
Hmm.
On my part, it was due to the Euro 2012 football
Hmm.
competition, of course, and
Hmm.
so I couldn't do any chess yesterday.
Hmm.
Okay, so let's get going. I think we have Kramnik against Grischuk here.
Yeah, that's our choice after careful and detailed consideration of other games. Um, okay, so this was interesting. So Kramnik as white played knight f3. Reti starting off as knight f3, non-committal for pawns, just knight f3.
Yeah, Kramnik mixes d4 and knight f3 usually in his games. He starts d4 and knight f3 just according to his opponent.
Mm.
I think he rarely plays knight f3 with the intention to get some independent opening that can only arise from knight f3. Let's say, just for instance, after this he always plays d4 and returns to usual d4 structures. He almost never plays stuff like this here.
Yeah.
So he uses knight f3 as a transpositional tool.
Yeah.
To avoid certain lines, and the main avoidance here is the Grunfeld and the Nimso-Indian. Very often he plays this against people he suspects that he will play the Grunfeld, and maybe he's not. He has got an excellent score against the Grunfeld. You need to know this.
Yeah.
It's not like he's not doing well against this opening, but I think he likes to mix his stuff, and on certain days wants to avoid certain variations, and so knight f3 this time. And Grischuk has a wide repertoire also. It's hard to guess what he will play. In the mini match they had last year in the candidates in Kazan, Russia, Grischuk always played c5 here.
Right.
And they got this kind of opening.
Yes, he accepted the d5 hole. I think I video annotated one of Grischuk's. He crushed Kamsky with black, seemingly effortlessly. He accepts the d5 hole and gets a good kingside attack sometimes.
Yeah. This line he played quite a lot in this candidates tournament, but this time he does something else, and something which at least surprised me a lot. So let's go on here. I think knight f6, and then we headed straight to the king's Indian.
So c4 g6, yes, and now so knight c3. So sort of quasi Grunfeld d5. It doesn't really work for black here, does it? d5 here.
Yeah, it's satisfactory, but it's just another opening. Of course, it resembles the Grunfeld, but it can be quite different. White has a huge choice here, and this is also maybe one of the reasons why sometimes black players don't want to go into this, because White has so many interesting lines here.
Yeah.
He can play, just for instance, he can play this line, which is interesting.
Yeah.
He can, of course, capture here, and now he's got so many moves. He can play Queen A4,
yes.
Queen B3.
Actually, Queen A4. Can we just quickly touch on this? Queen A4.
Check.
Yeah.
This looks quite dangerous. Say knight. Sorry, no. Say C6. Then Queen D4 might be good.
Yeah, C6 on C6. I'm not sure that this is so dangerous.
Or maybe not. Okay.
I mean F6. Black can play F6.
Ah.
On C6, White usually takes on D5.
All right.
I mean, it's possible. And now E4, the queen is covering E4 from the side, and then you follow up with D4.
Right.
It's a bit like Grunfeld, but it's not. You don't have this exchange on C3 happen, so it's a little bit of a difference in the center. So it's a huge choice. White can give this check. He can go for this move. He can go to Parlov's Queen C2. Play even H4 here, which is not entirely pointless. Really going H5, Queen A4 to H4 is quite crude, but it's not bad.
Cool.
It's very much very much choice here for white. So this is also, I think, why black players sometimes don't like this so much. But the King's Indian, it was a huge surprise, at least for me. Grischuk played this before, I think, but it's not one of his main openings.
Right.
And Kramnik is known to have a brilliant score against the King's Indian. So
Yeah, even against Kasparov. He's got a plus score against Kasparov in King's Indian.
yeah, Kasparov, I think, never won a classical game in the King's Indian against Kramnik, and he lost quite some.
Yeah.
He wasn't so bad out of the openings, if I remember correctly, but somehow it didn't work out. And it was really in the early stages of Kramnik's career. It's mid-90s or something,
Yeah.
because Kasparov pretty much gave up the King's Indian after those losses. So,
Blimey. I didn't know it was that devastating.
yeah, I think he lost 2 or 3, and he lost one brilliant rapid game, which is maybe one of the most impressive rapid games I ever saw, where Kramnik won against Kasparov, and he lost quite a number of games. He won also 1 or 2 rapid games, but all in all, it was pretty bad score.
Yeah.
All right, so we go e4 here, and therefore we got the King's Indian. Yeah, I think this is very normal castles now.
So,
And Kramnik pretty much always plays the classical line here.
yep. I used to relish playing black here, but unfortunately there's a horrible move coming up which I don't particularly like playing against, called the Bayonet attack, which is unfortunately played a lot now, isn't it? B4.
Yeah, this has become the main line maybe over the years. White, of course, has quite a number of moves here on move 9, but b4 has become the most popular move, and this is largely due to yeah. If you look at this now, White, what is the drawback of b4 here? The drawback is
Diagonal?
that actually. Sorry?
The diagonal sometimes with knight h. Sometimes black can use the diagonal, the weakened diagonal.
Yeah, right. And knight h5 is actually the main point,
Yeah.
which is also played in the game.
Yeah.
And this is also why this move was a bit out of fashion for years, because it was thought that knight h5 to f4, this kind of ideas,
Yeah.
would give black good play. And usually what happened starting in the mid-90s was that white began to play this little move rook e1,
Yeah.
and this really revolutionized this whole system. The idea was basically that if black goes knight f4, which isn't a good move really, but I show why. Okay, it's playable if black plays something like, let's say, h6 or something, but f5 would be the normal kind of stuff you play in the King's Indian. Then white can actually take here and play e5, and this reveals the big idea of rook e1, that white can break through in the center, and this position is close to losing for black.
Yes. I
Yeah,
don't
really.
particularly like it as black.
Yeah, you get c5 also, c5,
Yeah.
and bishop to c4, and then you're close to exploding on the e-file.
Yes.
I actually had this in a tournament game once. It was very funny. Okay, so yeah, so knight f4 is bad. So usually black goes. Oops, I need to. I think.
Funny in that you won quite quickly. Sorry. Or
Yeah, it was nice to play. So then it always went f5. I need to show this because it's relevant to the game. Knight g5, and this is a huge difference to lots of other lines in the classical King's Indian, where white's knight sometimes goes on this kind of route, or knight d2.
Yeah.
Here it's going to g5, and this is the difference because white often can get his knight to e6, which is very irritating. And this usually continues like this, knight to f6 back, because it was hanging on h5. And then white, of course, he can play f3, which was done quite a number of times, but also in the beginning of the line, white was playing this move.
Right.
All right, and you need to keep this position in mind, because what we get in the game is quite similar. So if we go back to the game.
And also Fischer on his run up to the 1972 match, didn't he? Was it Taimanov? He had similar King's Indian variations. with
Yeah,
knight.
Tamanov played on move 9, not b4, but bishop d2.
Oh right, bishop
But
d2.
but
Yeah.
this is quite similar in a way, because this knight h5 and f5 is also possible there, and white has got this ideas of knight g5. This is similar in this
Yeah.
respect. But what you need to keep in mind, this line here, white has played rook e1, and he's played this knight g5 and bishop to f3.
Yeah.
And now let's return to the game. Here, Kramnik played g3,
Yes.
which is the old move actually, which was played before rook e1,
Right.
was popular. And now we got f5, knight g5, very similar,
Yes.
knight back. And now, usually white played in the beginning of this line, like 20 years ago, still played today, but this was actually, f3 was the main move.
Yes.
And then it can continue knight h5 back and so on. I don't know it in detail, but white played this f3 move. But now Kramnik played actually bishop f3, and now you see this is very similar to the position before, the only difference being that the rook is back on f1 and white has played g3. And this is, I think, quite interesting, because g3 is quite a useful move, as it gives the bishop a nice retreat square on g2, and it's questionable if the rook is so great on e1. On e1 it protects e4, which is useful, because this is of course a point where both sides are fighting for, but the rook on f1 also protects f2,
Yes.
which can get sometimes vulnerable in the long run. At least if it's on the e1, f2 is much weaker. So I think this is quite interesting. It's similar to this other line, but also a little bit different. And I think my first impression, at least, I think it's quite favorably different.
I thought it's like crawling into the fianchetto variation manually. It's just fianchettoing the bishop manually here.
Yeah, it's a bit like that. G3 is just useful, and it gives a square on g2.
Yeah.
And it sort of stabilizes the position. And in general, what's happening here is white will land his knight on e6. I think I need to get rid of a couple of those signs. White wants to get to e6 here, therefore getting the bishop pair, because black of course needs to take it.
Yeah.
And then potentially this bishop here can get very strong. If the d5 pawn goes to e6, white captures here, and then this diagonal
Yeah.
gets into play. So,
and also,
of
course, you've got frontal pressure on d6, which, as this game shows, that can sometimes be increased with moves like this. So d6 can become a problem if your pawn's here.
Yeah. I think all in all, this is I don't know. I think if I would have black here, I would be quite annoyed about this kind of setup, because you don't get any attack on white's king or something, which you often have in the King's Indian, where you push the pawns and get some attack in return, and you don't have that here. And somehow it just looks, to me at least, that white is pressing and black has I don't know, very few chances to get some counterplay.
It's a game changer. It's like white's asking a dog to play fetch, because you're giving that pawn and saying go and eat it. So black's going to have to spend time eating that pawn, and it can be a powerful pawn sack anyway, even if it's taken.
Yeah, I think we should progress a couple of moves to show this, because it happens quite quickly that this knight lands there. So yeah, bishop g2, very nice prophylactic move.
And he waits for h6. So beautiful. The knight's not going to go back here. It is going to go for this, getting the bishop pair. So positional sort of pawn sacrifice in effect, isn't it?
Yeah, in the long run, this pawn on e6 can easily get lost. It can get attacked. Most often it gets lost in this way, that black protects d6 here, and then this kind of maneuver.
But I used to think, because of that Fischer match, that black might be doing okay once he gets to pawn. What is it? You get a good centre as well. But this has changed my perception of things quite significantly. This single game, actually, about this e6 pawn.
Yeah, I mean, this is these kind of positions are difficult to play. I had those kind of positions also myself a couple of times, and with white, of course. And I noticed it's difficult to play. I also had games where black simply got the pawn and ran away with it.
Ah,
And I was asking myself, what do I have for this pawn?
yeah,
It's really difficult. It's not like a clear cut better for white or something.
yeah.
But white has got nice chances based on the bishops and the pressure that will come up.
Yeah.
So I think Grischuk played a little bit differently here. He didn't capture with he took here.
Oh yeah.
So I'm not sure. Maybe 98 was an idea.
Oh, 98.
Yeah, to get to this pawn, but I mean we can show a bit here. The question is what would white play now? I guess b5, but it's not the only move. The idea being if black tries to keep it close, then white can take here and open up this this diagonal very nicely. So this cannot be the answer. So if black goes here, then that's the question what white will be doing now. Moves like queen a4 can be an idea, or knight to a3, bishop to a3 still.
Yeah.
Hard to tell. I think it's all looking quite nice, but it's not so easy to decide between those moves. Even c5 might be an idea here. Could also be an idea. Yeah, immediately attacking here.
Oh, blimey,
black
for queen
takes-
d7 maybe. Queen d7. Oh, no, I'm not sure, no. Okay.
I don't think black might take and play knight f6, but you can maybe go here. It's also an idea to protect this pawn for one more move,
Yeah.
and then continue with let's say here. White has lots of pressure in the center. It's very annoying.
Yeah.
It's difficult. Maybe this is better. I think somehow this knight e4 strikes me as being a bit too accommodating in a way. But hard to tell. Grischuk certainly or usually knows what he's doing. So let's have a look what happened.
Yeah.
And now b5 first, not taking on.
It's
d5.
really, all of this is very dual purpose, because if you'll know, that c6 is under fire, and bishop a3 is potentially facilitated, well, maybe after a4, but even, if white plays queen a4, that's dual purpose as well. It protects this and then puts more pressure on c6, so sort of attacking opportunities. A lot is created by b5 that is subtle, some of it's quite subtle, or maybe not that subtle.
Yeah, white opens up lines and opportunities for his pieces, and the main point here is this ugly piece.
Yeah.
On g7, it's just hindered by this pawn, and black would love to somehow get this piece into play, but it's not so easy to accomplish as we see in the game. So
is d5 is really asking for it. He didn't play d5, but he played rook f6. Is d5 really asking for trouble?
Yeah, I'm not sure. I'm not sure what exactly white should apply. He's got more than one interesting idea.
Maybe bishop a3.
Yeah, the question is bishop a3 and played immediately, or if you go bishop a3 here. What should black play? He cannot take here. We should show it briefly. That's the
disaster. Yeah.
Yeah. This is the problem. This bishop a3 somehow pins the pawn here on d5. It cannot move because of e7 is hanging. And what should black play now? The basic threat is just taking on e7 and taking on d5.
Can he play bishop f6?
Yeah. Okay. Maybe.
Interesting.
The question is maybe we could go something like this here. The issue persists that this pawn cannot move, this d pawn. If you you cannot move the pawn because e4 then falls and it opens up everything. And now white just piles up on the d pawn. Let's say with rook a d1, this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And It's not nice.
No.
But it's. I think I'm not even sure that this is the most exact way to do it.
Right.
Still, d5 is the principled move, so
Yeah.
maybe this was an idea still because it's. I think if you look at the game, this rook is somewhat somewhat strange. On e6, it's the point for concrete play by white. So rook f6 was played,
Yeah.
and now we recaptured the pawn finally.
Yeah.
Yeah, and black has won a pawn now. The
Yes.
c6 pawn is gone.
Pure
and
positional
no-
pawn sacrifice at this stage. Just maybe intuitively thinking he's got pressure, or he's backed it up with quite a lot of calculation, or a little bit of calculation. It just looks visually black stuck. Target d6, d-file. The rook's going to come to and things are going to coordinate. Yeah.
Yeah, the thing is, I mean, the practical problem also here in this position is, I'm not quite sure about the objective merit of the position here. If white is really lots clearly better or whatever, but just think about the ease of white's moves. He just plays the most active and optically pleasing moves like bishop a3, rook to d1. It's very easy to come up with a good plan as white.
Yeah.
You've got all those attacking points where you can put pressure on,
Yeah.
and black is stuck with strange pieces, and it's difficult to coordinate this. You get the bad bishop, you get a potentially weak king, and so on. It adds up, yeah.
Yeah.
So a difficult position to play.
Yeah.
Also, but this is just a suspicion. I think that's all preparation, of course.
Yeah.
If you look at the clock times, Grischuk spent half an hour here, and Kramnik just 15 or 16 minutes. It was very quickly playing this, so
Yeah.
it's possible that this was still preparation. I mean, move 13, 14, I mean, they could have made this pretty quickly, but rook f6, e6, I think it was most likely a known position, at least to Kramnik.
Yeah.
And I hope only to Kramnik, because if Grischuk, purposefully went into this, it's quite strange. Quite strange choice, I would say. Okay, so what did he play? I mean, I looked at the game, but
So
d5.
d5 now. Now we get this pin against the queen, so that pawn's not going anywhere, and it's going to be undermined very shortly. With that knight is defending the pawn, that knight's going to be attacked soon. But first he takes on d5. Okay, taking is interesting, isn't it? Dragging the other pawn away and leaving that just not biting any of black's pawns. But this d5 is fragile now, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, white's basic idea here is, I mean, the basic idea is maybe the wrong expression. It's just what happens in the position. White will go bishop to a3,
Yeah.
and somehow this is a poor knight, but the transposition here will be that this bishop will be exchanged for the knight,
Yeah.
and white in the process will get the pawn back.
Yeah.
And at the end of all of this,
Yeah.
it comes down to the difference between this piece and this piece.
And pawn islands, if you look, white will have
Yeah.
two pawn islands, one over here, and black with three pawn islands, these two, this one, and these two. This bishop blockaded by that pawn, but more pawn islands. And d5 is strategically important for white for the d-file entrance on d7 anyway.
Yeah, and this bishop on e4 is just a beautiful piece if the d pawn vanishes from the board, because it
Yeah.
puts pressure towards the king.
Yeah.
And we drew both.
Yeah, at the same time.
both
Yeah,
at the
yeah.
same time. Yeah. It's a very nice piece on e4.
In fact, I think we're witnessing here a positional masterpiece. It's quite a good advert for the white side of the Bayonet attack this game. It's like a model game I think we're witnessing here.
Yeah, it's a sort of what is it that white is aiming for in this opening? And Kramnik put this on the board, but okay, he's played so many model games against the King's Indian. You can
Yeah.
So okay, so
Queen b3. Queen b3. Interesting, isn't it? So queen b3 unblocks the pawn, just in case there's going to be undermining of this pawn. Maybe it creates a pin there as well, just in case.
Yeah, I mean, and you need to get this pawn back after all. So yeah, it also yeah, as you said, adds the pin on this rook on d6. So it's a nice multi-purpose move also.
Yeah.
And
Rook
yeah.
b6 looks very artificial. Rook b6, putting the rook there.
Yeah, but I mean, it's really a position. I don't know. It's difficult. What should Black play here?
Say rook. What was wrong with? Oh, rook d6 just runs into bishop a3.
Yeah.
And then if here you just maybe just take, and then you take d5.
Yeah, you get. I mean, it's good. It's good. Let's show this actually.
Sorry.
Let's show this actually.
So rook d6, bishop a3.
Because it shows this kind of configuration here quite nicely. So if white would take here this kind of position, this is just a nightmare for black, where white is threatening actually immediately rook d6 winning.
Strategically it looks brilliant, and tactically it's brilliant, isn't it? g6, concrete examples.
Just terrible.
Yeah.
And you've got this kind of poor piece on g7 against the monster on e4. Yeah, just terrible.
Yeah.
So this is actually what white is aiming for, and if you look at the game, it's it's actually what he got in the game at the end of all this. So okay, rook to b6. But yeah, hard to suggest a move really. I'm not sure.
They're taking time for a4, so bishop a3 without any holding up this part of the chain more with the a4 pawn, but bishop a3 delayed a little bit.
Yeah, and also one idea could be if the diagonal gets open to get to the b7 pawn. Yeah.
Yeah.
This works very nicely together.
Yeah.
And yeah, hard to suggest. What did you play? A6. Yeah.
Yeah. And now we see finally bishop a3. So it's really undermining that d5. Now here, so black played AB, but what other alternatives? Okay, if he plays d4, be a disaster, I guess, in some way.
I mean, you can win material with this move, and this is quite enough, I think.
Rook f6 here.
Yeah, well, b7 now.
Oh, b7, yes. Just take on b7. Ouch.
Yeah, yeah, and this shows, you know, this would. Oops.
Sorry.
I mean, a move like this here. You cannot take on a6. I thought you could take here,
rook
but
a6 maybe.
This isn't what you want, to pin your bishop here, to go for a self pin. But you can actually just go back here, and are just much better.
Yeah, these pawns are menacing with these bishops pointing down.
Yeah, terrible.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So this isn't possible. And maybe, I don't know, a queen move.
Also, queen f7 looks strong as well, you know, attacking these points. Maybe, what does black do here? Just queen f7.
Oh, also not bad, yeah, not bad.
Torture.
Say this here.
Ah.
What do you do? What do you play to take here? I might have this strange little move.
I suppose you could play bishop g6 and queen b7. Is that
check?
Is that too greedy? It's giving black a bit of counterplay, is it?
Yeah, I'm not quite sure. I think you lost a bit of the coordination here, but yeah, but I think the other line was it's sometimes it's good to be just greedy with bishop c5 and win material.
Yeah.
It's looks quite lost actually. Bishop c5.
Yeah.
Okay, so what did you play? A queen move, or I've sort of forgot. Oh, you took. Yeah.
So then we have this exchange. He gets d5, and now.
Yeah, we're close to the mentioned configuration. Yeah, with those two pieces Actually, I don't know how to do this in with the software. This e4 should get a green square and this a, a red square on g7.
Ah,
It's certainly possible. I'm not quite sure how to do this,
yeah,
but this is just a dream piece on e4.
yeah, absolutely. So, pawn islands. Black's got 3 pawn islands now. If White can get this pawn back, but also, so we've got a pin here against this rook. We've got a pin here against that pawn, which is important. So what did Black play here?
I think didn't he play b4? Yeah.
Okay.
Mm.
What else was there? If he didn't play b4, what would White do, or what could Black do here? So he can't take on a4. You just take and then take on b6. If you don't play b4, right? Let's just say
Maybe rook d8 or something,
okay. What would White
just
do?
for argument's sake. I think there's a good move here with a5, maybe.
Ah,
This is very strong, I think. Let's say if Black would play something like this, you can take on b5 and take b7.
right.
And if b7 falls, the combination of this bishop and this pawn means you get a new queen. It's very, very close to this.
All right, just a5. Yeah, just get the pawn back, and then you got pressure. Yeah.
Yeah, this is quite nice. Also this here,
Mm.
something like this, rook somewhere. No, here. And Black can resign. The a pawn just promotes here.
I suppose you can play queen c5 on f2.
Yeah, you can try, but I just need to protect this because it's just a one move threat here. This maybe.
Yeah, yeah. This bishop's not really helping.
Yeah. It's like you're playing a piece down. Really.
This bishop is really helping things, like this pawn. Yeah. All right, let's go back to the line then. So he plays b4, and now a5. Okay, a5. So if this wasn't being pinned, this pawn, then AB would actually be a threat. At the moment, it's a potential threat if this is protected, this rook, which Black needs to bear in mind. But here he doesn't move the rook. He kind of pins. So we've got 2 pins going on. It's quite interesting.
Yeah, exactly. Queen f7 is a tricky kind of move to pin the rook on d5 against the queen. But White has a strong response. Kramnik played h4, right?
Yes, sort of hack attack move, but no, totally justified by this bishop, which is strategically a lot better than this bishop. So tactics are being justified by strategy. In this position, it's fantastic, this h4, isn't it? Because of that.
Just one thing, I think you have a sort of I don't know, the idea that moves like h4 are bad in a way.
Yeah.
I'm not sure. This hack attack thing, it's usually those those flank pawn moves like a4, h4.
Yeah.
They're often very useful strategically.
Yeah.
Very often, because they gain space. They sort of do some work against pawn formations and so on. It's not an attacking move. I mean, h5 is sort of an attack, but very often those flank moves are very, very useful in improving your position. So it's that famous saying that Bent Larsen said if he has no other idea in a position, he will play a4 and h4.
Really?
Yeah.
That's great. Oh man, I didn't know about it. You know, a lot of quotes, don't you? I didn't know that quote. That's brilliant. Oh, fantastic.
Yeah, but and he actually did. Yeah, in his games, he used the flank pawns very often, and they're very often effective in attacking, but also improving your position as it gains space. And okay. Here concretely, h5 is just threatened.
Yes, and we get a disaster move, don't we, from Black? A total disaster.
h5 is a real lemon, but
oh dear.
Yeah, but this position was just terrible.
I know.
I mean, you should show what happened, because the finishing move is very
aesthetic, isn't it?
aesthetically pleasing. Yeah.
Yes, should say aesthetically pleasing. So someone's had a go at me on that before, saying just aesthetically good. No, aesthetically pleasing, Queen D1. So now this is really on the cards now because this rook's protected. Also, this is now on the cards because this pawn's now pinned, pin and counter pin. So he's unpinned his rook as well. Not that. So there's also potential rook D7 as well, pinning the bishop. This game features a lot of pins, doesn't it?
Yeah, and this also shows this Queen D1. This position shows perfect harmony in White's pieces. Somehow everything protects each other. The Queen, everything protects, and everything's working nicely together.
Yeah.
And this is actually, back from the early '90s, I've always been a fan of Kramnik's games, and his if everything works for him in the game, they often look like this. Every piece is working together, and it sort of forms a complete picture of a game which is flowing from move 1 to the end, and this is one of those.
It's like watching Brazil football at its peak. Brazil, very coordinated team, fantastic.
Yeah,
coordination.
sort of everything's playing together. Yeah, this is just very nice. I mean, H5 was, of course, not the best move.
No.
That Black but okay, but what could he play? It's not easy at all.
No, there's some fun tactics. Say King H8. I think there's Rook D8, isn't there? Just discovering an attack on the Queen.
Yeah.
So Rook takes D8, Queen takes F7 without Black having anything.
The Queen is always nice. So you cannot play this.
If he plays this, I think we can just play just Rook here, threatening again, check, and trying to win the Queen, or Bishop D5. So if the Rook has to move here, doesn't it?
Yeah, let's say it goes here.
So
And,
check.
Check.
Oh, right, protecting the Queen. Oh, no, hang on. It's not so clear cut then, is it?
It's very good for White, but maybe we even have something better. Okay, I have an idea. Just take this back. What if I play this first? If Black captures now,
it's devastating.
Check.
The check.
then this is over because you cannot go to H7 now.
And then, for example, you've got Bishop D5
Check.
here, haven't you?
Exactly.
Bishop D5. Ouch.
It's a very, very loud ouch. So and if Black cannot take on H5, it just resigns.
This is just such an aesthetically amazing, pleasing advert for the Bayonet attack, this game. Oh dear. Which, I've done 1 or 2 videos on my channel before about the Bayonet attack, because it's not something I like.
I didn't know.
Yeah,
I don't know. I mean, I think the theoretical status wasn't so isn't so bad anyway for Black, but I'm not sure what you should do against this line. I am no expert. But I didn't think that that Black was doing so badly in this opening lately. Just theoretically, at least. I mean, everything is also a matter of taste. It's not only objective evaluation, but also you need to like the position.
but let's have a look. See, okay, let's give an example here. So say he did plan with Rook F6, then we crash through with check. Wouldn't we? Or is there something stronger here than
Rook D7 is also a move.
Rook D7 first to pin here.
It's also not bad.
By the way, our resident YouTube GM is talking about how pins are sometimes not very good to use. I think this game's got a lot of pins and counter pins as examples. That Smirnov, he's talking about pins with Bishop G5. But
No idea. I don't watch his videos.
no, but all his examples back it up, right? But it's like creating a virtual rule, yeah. But there are counter examples. I'm pretty sure. But here, okay, it's good to create this pin, for example.
I mean, in chess you can find examples for everything. I mean, there are games won with 1 F3 also.
So say the Queen moves here. This is even worse. So now you do the execution with check.
Check.
It's even worse because you've got Bishop G6. Now you're threatening mate with Queen H7.
Yeah, this wins. I mean, if you're very
Check.
a very pyromaniac kind of person, you can also give this check here.
Sorry, that's even worse. That's even much stronger.
I win every piece. I mean, it's winning. Oh, everything's winning here. I mean, what could Black do? He could go here, and then you can decide. I mean, it's you can take H5, but maybe this isn't so clear. I mean, what is White doing now? I mean, d7 is also hanging, and it's no. I think you would need to
Does bishop d?
return.
Oh no, isn't bishop c5? Your queen's hanging now.
Yeah, queen's hanging. I think I need to maybe return, which is still terrible for black. But it's questionable if this pawn grab helped you so much.
Right.
Maybe you can just take here.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hard to say. Or with the rook, maybe with the rook. Hard to tell. I mean, the rook on d7 is sort of a liability to the queen, yeah. So maybe it's an idea to move the rook, and then you have this queen h5 check still coming up.
Yeah.
And also now you're threatening this one. Yeah, rook
Oh,
takes.
rook takes g7. Yes, yes. Of course, you just basically an uncovered attack on a8 as well. Yeah.
Yeah, black has no move here. Let's say moves something like this,
Yeah.
for example. Then you just can you just push the a pawn? Maybe you can. I mean, f2 is hanging, but maybe you can still just.
Well, if you get g6, it's pretty. If you let black weaken g6 here with this, so you play check, and now you play bishop g6. Isn't that strong? There's no killer check here, is there? Isn't this end of game? Bishop g6 here.
Probably
Check.
this one, maybe.
Check. Check.
Oh man, there's a lot of resources in chess, isn't there?
Yeah, you got it.
Oh, I'm not winning with queen e2 here. Check. No, you can run away.
Maybe this one.
Oh, blimey.
But I mean, this kind of variation, I think you had a position where black was very close to just resigning. I mean, you resigned in the game, actually.
Yes.
So maybe you don't want to get. There must be something clearer. Maybe you don't want to let him take on f2 and just play some positional move. Okay, so I think it was quite justified to resign.
Yeah.
Oops. to resign here. So very nice demonstration from Kramnik here.
A bit frightening for the King's Indian players, to be honest. So just do an overview and summary. So if you want to play the King's Indian, I think you've got to know something about the bayonet attack. This game shows bayonet attack. The exploitable base of the chain D6 is accelerating an attacking principle on D6 rather than the base of the chain.
Yeah, but maybe just a little thing here. If you really play this as black and you're sort of afraid of this move, maybe it's an idea to look for some other line maybe here.
I played h6 myself as black to stop all this knight g5 stuff because it did scare me. Just in my club games, I don't like knight g5 to e6, so I've wasted time with h6 with some success. Maybe it shouldn't.
I mean, a couple of years ago, a5 was also a possibility, which isn't too bad, I think. I mean, it's more of a positional way to play this. It usually continues like this here. And then you can sometimes even play b6 to trying to hold white a bit on the queen side.
Yeah.
I mean, you're maybe slightly worse here, but it's not so terrible.
Yeah.
I mean, this is an idea. Or if you really sort of don't care much about, just want to have a fight, yeah. Then you can also just play knight to e8 here.
Yes.
And f5 and so on. Or knight d7, maybe it's like Nakamura did a couple of times.
Right.
It's possibly objectively better for white, but very difficult to play. I mean, I'm referring to this kind of stuff here.
Yeah, I think Ivanchuk lost to Rajabovic in this line.
And this line, we got a couple of Hikaru Nakamura games. He won against Gelfand, a brilliant game, really. I don't know if you ever covered this, but he did an amazing kingside attack against Gelfand here with black. And he also won against Anand with this. I mean, from a lost position, but
yeah,
it's... if you play this kind of line with black, you sort of accept that you might be losing at some point. but it's very, very dangerous all the time for white also. I mean, this is a kind of position I wouldn't play with both colors.
Well, you swap the evil, because instead of the evil of having to chase a pawn to regain a pawn and lose your bishop pair, you accept being squashed and demolished on the queen side instead, with some counter chances on the king side here, more with your bishop. So you accept that.
It's dangerous. I mean, it's in a practical chess game. It's difficult to play for white also. I mean, I wouldn't play it as white because it just happens so often that you get mated.
Yes.
Yeah, I saw a video once that Grandmaster Yarmolinsky did for ICC, and it was very funny. He was doing a series on the King's Indian, and he showed one of his games in this line actually, and then he sort of recalled his thoughts during the game, because he thought, okay, why did I play this line actually? Here I'm sitting in the first round of a Swiss against a 2000 player, and I might get mated. I mean, he didn't at the end, but why did I get into this here? So it's not a kind of convenient position for white to play. Like, you can just press a bit and here and there and trying to do something without much risk. This is just here do or die. Yeah. So maybe black players who aren't exactly competing for the world championships might consider playing this, because it's, I mean, on this level it's very risky to do so.
Yeah.
But I mean, in just a normal chess game where you want to have some fun also, why not go for this?
Well, it can't be worse than this game, can it? It can't, this game was a bad demo of the pawn sack on e6.
Yeah, but black has so many alternatives also. But what he could play, I mean, before I even, just to make some funny, I even played King H8 a couple of games as black. When I played the King's Indian as black, I played King H8 a couple of times. The idea being this kind of stuff.
Yeah, get rid of the dark square bishop. Huh?
Yeah, it's not brilliant or anything, but I mean, it's playable. Yeah. And come up with some interesting idea, and then you can play this opening. Why not? Yeah. Okay, so I was sort of interrupting
cool.
the...
No, I'm a King's Indian player. It's going to help my over the board, maybe. King's Indian remains a good workhorse for me in club chess.
Yeah, it surely is. I mean, I still play it from time to time as black if I'm in an adventurous mood, so to say.
This convinces me I don't want to invite the knight to e6 this game, even more, actually. So no, I don't like black's play to chase back this pawn and just be positionally, like, it's just positional pawn sacrifice. This queen a4 afforded by position, you know, black's queen cannot do anything as aggressive as queen a4. That's quite interesting. This pawn chain gives queen a4 such a punch on black's light squares. I find it fascinating that, you know, just basically this is a very aggressive pawn chain still. Okay, this rook move is just totally not in the King's Indian spirit to be going over after pawns like this on the queen side, but it's just the nature, it's just what the position is from the opening.
Yeah, it's really difficult. I think at one point there of course should be some improvement. I don't know, like on move 15 or something. But it's really difficult to play. I mean, I'm not quite sure what Grischuk prepared there, but I think it's very annoying to play over the board. If you think you are under so much pressure, and it's far easier to play for white. Yeah, who's got all this active moves to sort of come naturally to you.
What are the statistics on pawn chains when one side has two islands, and one has 3? Does the side with more islands generally lose statistically? Sorry, I know that's an abstract question. Would you say they generally lose? They got more weaknesses to cover?
Yeah, I mean, loose pawn structures are of course always an issue, but yeah, I hate to say it, but it really depends on the position.
Yeah, I know. Okay, I know. Sorry. Okay. All right. I hope people on YouTube found our dual commentary banter quite interesting and informative. So we'll upload this to both our channels. Thanks, Chris. Thanks, everyone, for watching.
Yeah, thanks for watching.
So comments or questions on YouTube, on King's Crusher or the Chess Explained channel. Okay, thanks very much.